Okay, so here's another example where we have a trig equation where we don't just have theta in the argument, but now we have theta over 2 in the argument. So cosine theta over 2 plus square root of 3 over 2 equals 0. We're looking for all the values of theta that will work in that equation. So the first thing we have to do, again, is isolate the trig function. So we're going to subtract square root of 3 over 2 on both sides. So we're going to get cosine theta over 2 equals negative square root of 3 over 2, because those cancel. All right, so now we're looking for where is there an angle whose cosine is square root of 3 over 2. So we look at our unit circle, and we see that negative square root of 3 over 2 for our cosine happens at 5 pi over 6, or 150, and 210. So 150 and 210 is where you get a cosine of negative square root of 3 over 2. So that means that theta over 2, okay, not theta, but theta over 2 is going to be 150 or 210, because cosine 150 is negative square root of 3 over 2, and cosine 210 is negative square root of 3 over 2. That means that this number that we want there has to be 150 or 210 to make that equation true. All right, well, if theta over 2 is 150, then theta has to be twice as much. It has to be 300. So theta has to be 300 in order for theta over 2 to be 150, because 300 over 2 is 150. And then 210, for theta over 2 to be 210, that means theta has to be 420. All right, that's already too far. That's already out of the range for theta. So this 210 cannot even be a solution, because it's out of the range for theta. It puts theta out of the range. So the only value for theta that's going to work in this equation is theta equals 300, because that means theta over 2, cosine 300 over 2, or 150, is negative square root of 3 over 2. So the only value that works in the range for theta is 300 degrees. So when you have in the argument theta divided by something, you're going to have fewer answers for theta, because you have to multiply theta by a number that will make it bigger. All right, one more. Sine 3 theta minus 1/2 equals 0. So again, this is where we have our argument being 3 theta, so it's being multiplied by a number, and therefore there are going to be more solutions, more possibilities for theta between 0 and 360. So to solve this equation, we'll add 1/2 to both sides, and we'll end up with sine 3 theta equals 1/2. All right, so what does 3 theta have to be in order for the sine of it to be 1/2? Well, where does that happen? All right, if you look at your unit circle, where is sine 1/2? Sine is 1/2 at 30 degrees and 150 degrees. So the two choices are 30 and 150. All right, so if 3 theta is 30, that means that theta is just 10, because theta is 30 over 3, if 3 theta is 30. And then if 3 theta is 150, then theta is 150 over 3, or 50. So you've got these two little values for theta, and you've got this whole big range to fill up. You can get more values for theta by spinning around the circle. All right, so we went to 30 degrees, which is right here. That's where we got one of our solutions. So we're going to spin all the way around the circle, 360 degrees, and another 30 to get back there again. So 360 plus 30 is 390. So another choice for 3 theta is 390, which makes theta 1/3 of that, so 130. All right, if I spin around the circle to 150 after spinning around once and then going all the way to 150, over there, 360 plus 150 is going to be 510. So 510 is another solution. for 3 theta, which means that theta would be 510 divided by 3, which is 170. So that's another choice for theta. If I spin around the circle twice and go to 30, that's going to be 720 plus 30, which is 750. So that's another possibility for 3 theta, which makes theta 750 divided by 3. So 250. We're still within the range of 0 to 360. We haven't gone out yet. All right, if I go to 150 by spinning around the circle twice first, 720 plus 150, that gives me 870. All right, 870 divided by 3 is going to be 290. So I've got 6 values for theta, and if I try to spin around 3 times, if I try to spin around the circle 3 times and go to 30 again, that's going to be 1080 plus 30, which is going to be, let's see, 1080 plus 30 is going to be 1110. If I divide that by 3, that's too much. It's 370. So these are all the possibilities for theta that will work in this equation. If you put these angles in here for theta, you are going to get 1/2. Sine 3 times these things is going to be 1/2, and then you subtract 1/2 and you get 0. So there are 6 possible solutions for that equation.